Hello fellow haters of the blue, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to Zero Skill, a series of videos where I show you the simplest and most effective way of painting your models. In this video we will take a look at how to paint dark green armor with amazing results and just 3 steps, with some optional finishing details as always. But before we start, let me talk to you about today's video sponsor, Into the AM, and their amazing apparel for your magnificent body. Into the AM is having their biggest sale of the year. Enjoy up to 60% off starting this November 13th until December 8th, 2024. This would be the perfect time for you to purchase your favorite Into the AM products for yourself or as a holiday gift. I personally love their graphic tees. In fact, I love them so much that they have become my most used tees by far. The print quality is amazing and the fabric is incredible and they fit like a glove. Click the link in the description and get 10% off on these premium made tees on top of the 60% discount Into the AM is running right now. Yes, the discounts stack. Thanks Into the AM for sponsoring this video and for the super cool t-shirts. Let's get cracking. As you can see, we are starting from a base coat of Wraithbone spray, and you still can see the awful blue plastic underneath. It's just the worst, but it's not a big deal. And if it's just on the lower parts and recesses and stuff like that, it's going to even add to our paint job, so it's not, the end of the world. And for our first step, we're going to do a 1-to-1 layer of Twilight Rose and Express Medium. You could use a red for this. Technically, that would be the color that would be the opposite of the green on this spectrum, but I just feel like, well, this Twilight Rose is just a fantastic paint. It's a beautiful color to have in your arsenal, and it just leaves a very nice result. If you've watched several of these videos, you already know how to apply this. We go section by section, which in this Gravis armor is quite easy. It has a lot of small sections. Can also be a little bit of annoying because it has, a lot of small bits. But these express paints do go quite smoothly. We just want to leave the express on the lower parts, recesses, and stuff like that. Just like that. You see how we have a nice gradient of pink on the lower parts where it's pulling, and we can add more of that in certain bits just to emphasize that effect. One of the advantages of Express over Contrast is that they dry very, very slowly. So we have plenty of time to work them in and make sure they are smooth before they start drying, and we just can't do anything else. With that step done and the model looking quite pink for a Dark Angel, it's time for the next step, and this will be a dry brush using Dawn Yellow. And for that I'm going to use my ARTIFY 5-piece dry brush set. This is not a sponsored video at all. They haven't paid me to do this, but this is my favorite dry brush set. Comes with 5 sizes, a sponge and some soap. It's absolutely incredible. Same quality as Artisopus and all of those very expensive brands for a third of the price. You can find it on Amazon using my link, and I will get a small commission. So if you want to help me out and get an amazing dry brush set, follow the link below and get yourself the best. And as said, I'm going to use Dawn Yellow for a very simple reason. I want a yellowy highlight because I like my Dark Angels with that kind of tone. But if you don't like it, you can use, for example, a grey or a white, and you will get different results. But I like the yellow, so I'm going to go for Dawn Yellow. I lately been doing my dry brushing over my wet palette because I actually prefer it. I can moisten my brush. This is the number 7. and then I can just pick up some of this paint. I find this gives me a better control, and I will use my thumb until I see like a good result, like there. And I want a nice highlight here. I'm going to try to apply this from the top towards the bottom, but also following the natural shapes of the armor. Slowly building up the layers, doing several passes. Now going to move into the next brush. This is the number 5. And we can start doing some stippling here and there. And a more precise application. If you are painting a larger model, obviously you will spend more time with the larger brushes. But for the infantry models such as this, I usually go and spend way more time with the smaller brushes than with the bigger ones. Especially my favorite one, which is the smallest one of them all. Speaking of that, we go to the smallest brush, which is the number 3. And this is my favorite one because I get to do a lot of precise stippling with this, bringing my highlights to where I want them. And I can create spot highlights with this that later on are going to look amazing once we apply the colors. As you can see, I am focusing my highlights with this brush onto the main edges and spot points of light. But as I said, also picking up like all of the edges, even in the dark parts. And with this brush, I have enough precision that I can do that quite easily. This is by far my favorite brush of the set. It's such a precise tool. And with our Space Marine looking like a strawberry and banana pudding, it's time to apply the final layer and turn it into a dark angel. For this, we're going to use Monastic Green, thinned down with Express Medium. I'm going to use a mix that I found works the best, which is 3 parts Monastic Green to 2 parts Express Medium. If you prefer a lighter green color, you can opt for a 1:1. That was my first go, and although it did work, I just prefer that slightly darker color. And we're going to apply this very carefully over the whole surface, just like that. And we don't want this to pull too much anywhere. We just want essentially sort of a filter effect. We don't want this layer to be too heavy. And thus, I'm going to go section by section very carefully, more than before, because I want the best result possible. Making sure we cover everything, and you can already see what an amazing green is going to leave this behind. By the way, this is the first time I've ever painted a Gravis Marine, so this is a new experience for me. They're full of crap. I mean, they look really cool, but I do prefer the more minimalistic looking intercessors, if I'm honest. I hope you can see how the highlights are already forming, where we had the yellow, while the darker bits where the pink is get really dark. That is exactly what we want. This is not yet fully dry, but come on, look at this. I am so happy with how this looks. I mean, this is probably one of the best results of this series by far. Such a beautiful looking green. Well, now we have to wait for this to dry, and then I will show you how you can elevate this with some simple highlights if you want. Our green layer is dry. You can stop here, but I'm going to show you how you can get to the next level by adding some highlights. I'm going to start with Mood Green because again, I do prefer that yellowy green look. And with Mood Green, I'm just going to emphasize some of the edge highlights, especially in the darker areas. And we can also apply this Mood Green thinned down into a glaze consistency to emphasize some of the highlight areas. If you prefer a muter looking green, you will probably have to do your own testing to find out the perfect color. but I personally really like this. I'm not going to apply this highlight everywhere. I'm just going to concentrate it in the front of the miniature because the back looks absolutely incredible as it is, and I see no point on doing more work. You can already see how this final highlight really elevates the paint job to a completely different level. I always like to emphasize the round bits, especially with that spot highlight. It just looks amazing and it's really easy to do. With that highlight done, the model looks absolutely incredible now. And I'm going to do the final highlight. This is a 1-to-1 mix of Mood Green and Dawn Yellow. Again, I am a big fan of this like super Tron-like look, so if you don't like this, feel free to stop whenever you like, or to choose a different set of colors. For this highlight, I'm just going to concentrate it in the right areas, so highlighting like spot highlights, emphasizing the highlights I did in the previous step. Just like that, just that little extra contrast. This could be a great idea to do for like HQ and those kind of things. So for your important units or your leaders. And again, I'm only going to do this highlight on the front of the model because that's the important part, and this takes a lot of work, and we are trying to do a compromise between quality and speed here. For the super rounded bits, I'm going to do the same thing, just a thinned down version, to glaze in the final highlight spot on the spot highlights. And with that last step, the armor is finished. As you can see, the back is not highlighted, but still looks amazing, and the front looks absolutely incredible. I'm going to finish painting this whole model, and if you want to see the whole process, you will have that on my Patreon, alongside a lot more exclusive videos where the content is uncut and edited. You will see each and every brush stroke. The Dark Angel is finished, and if you want to see how I painted the rest of the model, you can see that in the extended version of this video in my Patreon. I think it came out amazing and the armor was so easy to paint. Once again, kindly check into the AM and click my link below for an additional 10% off. And thank you for watching this video. Don't forget that if you like my videos and want to help me make them, you can follow me on social media. You have the links to all my social media in the description below and in the pinned comment of this video. Share and like this video, but most importantly, there is Patreon and channel members. Patrons and members allow me to do all the cool videos that I want to make, and most importantly, they allow me to keep releasing videos for free here on YouTube. Perks include access to an amazing Discord community full of lovely people, access to many more Patreon exclusive videos, and now also private one-on-one online tutorings. Help me and join the list of the coolest persons in the planet, including Rob Hassal, Stephen K, JP Andre, Bladovic, James Battershill, Agnes Feher, Arnaud, Jay, MRN Stewart, Kevin Price, Anthony Panullo, The Salty Squire, Jared Hughes, Rob Jewett, Eric McKenzie, Daniel McCormack Smelt, Mac Angry, Max G, Dave Griffiths, Victor, Cory Tickler, Lugubrious Cramhorn, Zoe Sifayet, Emilio Engix, 3Gs, Marco Parasnik, James Coplin, Rogelio Thomas, Geek Daddy, Wandering Paria, King Tango, TTSS Productions, Jay Hoover, Nicholas Esbar, Minis Baye, Benjeline, Dan Crandall, Emily Queen of Sloth, Nicholas Davis, Agon David, Pablo Cuesta, Benjamin Barbet, Pumpkin Hill, Chris Black, Jacob, Matthias Babiuk, Andre Michensko, Aaron Miller, Jake Stein, Stefan Zimmerman, Tom, Dr. Mag, Martin Rebrash, Schwal, PJM, Matt Wallis, Mark Carter, Hendricks, Chester Roche, Adam Foots, Tyler Hughes, Chris G, Allman Gaming, Spacey Joe, Mark Watson, Hamish Donald, Matthew Lang, Star Starro, Star G, Mark Reguera, Romain, Ars Miniatura, Just Rex, Dr. Cathaber, Angelos Alexos, Des, Giovanni, Giuseppe Nicolancona, Mark Bellencoop, Felix Franke, Aaron Versten, Daniel Ramin, Bowsy, Terry Tenhan, Planche, Biome, Howard Holben, Stephanie All, Richard St. Pierre, Stephen Rockford, Roy Nelson, Oscar Jonathan Torbeck, Nick Nguyen, Dan Mako, Kristalios, Norman, Bartosz Badensky, Kevin Meander, Sifaran, Edgus Maximus, Kevin Mota, Adam Thaxton, Heather Armstead, Mark Atkinson, Mike Jarvis, Fergal, Josh Simpson, Christoph Moret, G-Force, Dr. V, Nan Lindemann, Kieran Murther, Andrew Dyer, and Kevin Sullers. And as for me, I will catch you in the next one. Bye!